To this year's Hajj now, and Saudi Arabia says 1,300 people died during the pilgrimage to Mecca. So numerous cases, according to the authorities, with the extreme heat. We don't know the exact number. Some witnesses say they saw participants lose consciousness or walk past bodies covered on the side of the road. And some pilgrims complained this year's trip lacked adequate infrastructure and planning. Now, all in all, for those completing the Hajj, it takes about 5 days to do it. And bearing in mind, we're talking about temperatures here that were up to 40, 50, I'll show you in just a second. You go from Mina to Arafat, to Muzdalifah, then around again. Some 44 kilometres in these blistering heats. And in each of these places, particularly, of course, in Mecca, and there are more procedures, there are more religious ceremonies that have to be completed. According to the authorities in Saudi, most of those who died were travelling through unlicensed tour operators. Now, these companies don't typically provide air-conditioned buses or easy access to food and water. And look at the temperatures that we're talking about, 45. These are now, but apparently at the last week, they were heading up higher than that, 48, 49, maybe even as high as 50. Zirrar Ali is a photographer and writer who just returned from his Hajj pilgrimage, which he took his 70-year-old father. He joins me now. It's reading now between the lines. Good to have you with us, sir. Reading between the lines, the authorities are basically saying this is those who were there on tourist visas, not Hajj visas, were unauthorized, and therefore did not have the backup and the support of an organization or a tour company. Does that sound about right?
I think good to be with you. I think there's some truth to that, but if you look at the history of the pilgrimage and whenever there's been an incident in the past, this is the first line the Saudi government goes to, which is these are unlicensed, unregistered pilgrims. People impacted were also people who were registered, like myself and my father. So we had all the facilities, we had the air-conditioned buses, but yet we were also in danger at the same time. It's hard to know exactly how many who died tragically were unregistered. We'll take the word for it. But I don't believe that it's specifically designated just to those pilgrims. From speaking to friends and family and strangers who were also impacted, these are people who are registered, who went through the official channels, as did I and my father, and we're in the same boat. Right. So I don't think you can separate it as easily as that, unfortunately.
For those, obviously, who are not familiar, I've seen the pictures, and we're looking at some of your pictures, some of your superb work at the moment. I mean, when you're in the middle of that sort of fervent crowd, for many of whom are doing it for the first and only time in their lives, and they're swept up in the emotion. How easy was it if you suddenly said, I need to get a glass of water, I need a bottle of water? Was it easy?
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. So now, although water is provided on some parts of the route, as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of walking. So if you leave with 2 bottles of water, which you think would be enough, you can drink that within minutes. So once you need more water, if you're not in the right place, there's no water to be provided. And this is where people really struggle because you'll have to walk a mile, maybe even longer, to find somebody to give you water. And so those supplies that should have been really available on all parts of the route just were not. So this is where pilgrims were helping each other. And that's what it comes down to, is helping other pilgrims and not through the official channels, which I feel like should have been the standard procedure, at least for this.
Don't take this question the wrong way, but there's never any shortage of entrepreneurial people who'll turn up to sell you a bottle of water. So how is that different here?
So to be honest with you, I think the reason I survived some of the hottest days of the Hajj was through volunteers. Now, Hajj is a very sacred time, and people try and behave, and charitable donations and individuals do come out. So as I mentioned, I think the only reason I survived the hottest days was because we had individuals who were giving out bottles of water out of their own accord, not selling them. And these are individuals who are private. There's no license. They just simply come out of the good will of their own heart, and they give water, but they only have so much, right? And so this is when you get crowds who are gathering and fighting for limited amount of water and food.
I want to end on a positive note. What did you get from it? You were there with your father. Describe for me the moment.
It's for me, it was an incredibly important trip, and it meant a lot to share this with my elderly father. And so for me, I got the spiritual high that I wanted from the trip. I was fortunate enough to be in a healthy, fit state that I didn't suffer the way many did. So for me, it's a memory I'll keep with me for the rest of my life. And I hope I could have said the same thing for many others who did not
Thank
survive,
you.
unfortunately, this pilgrimage.
Glad you were with us tonight. I'm grateful to you, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you.